I'm Cassie.
I'm Ty.
And our son, Easton, is 3. At our 30-week appointment, we went in and everything looked great. And then about a week later, I was like 31 and a half weeks and I thought my water broke. So we went in the middle of the night to get checked out, and I was in labor and staying there. And the doctors were hoping I could make it to 34 weeks. Ideally, 32 would be okay. And at midnight at 32 weeks, Easton decided to make his appearance.
A few days in was when he destatted and they did x-rays of his belly and found the distended bowels and the bowel infection. So that's what prompted our transfer to Cardinal Glennon.
I remember the phone call of our nurse out here in Lake St. Louis on the phone with transport, deciding whether to bring the ambulance or the chopper, and if they thought he could make it the drive. And I freaked out of like, what do you mean he can make it? Like, I was just feeding him, like, he's fine. Look at him, he looks fine. I think I will hear the sound of mobile x-ray for the rest of my life. Every 6 hours for the first day, and then as the bowel was looking a little more stable, then it was 12 hours. It seemed like it was inevitable that his bowel would perforate and he'd be rushed to emergency surgery to try to save his life. I think when it resolved, everyone was shocked. We don't know how that happened. Like, that's incredible. He was so sick. The first part of our stay was crazy that was going on and resolved while this other like monster was looming of hydrocephalus. And what was that going to look like? It felt like we beat one battle and then we like had one that hadn't even started. There were lots of ups and downs. I remember Dr. Muhammad came in when we had gotten the hydrocephalus diagnosis, and I think that was the first time I cracked. Sorry every time. I just remember being like, if Easton fights, you have to fight.
We would sit in the blue rocking chair. I'll never forget it. It probably still has a butt print from me from hours and hours and hours and hours of rocking in there. But once I had him out, I never wanted to put him down till they made me. So
we had been staying because I just felt like he was torn away from us once, and like I wasn't gonna let him out of our sight. And then Brittany came. There was just something about her, like all the nurses are great, but she just fit. And she kind of knew my pumping schedule. And so she would leave little notes on the camera because she knew I was crazy and I would watch him while I was pumping, like check in on him a couple times in the night. So she would leave me little notes. It's care like that at Glennon that made all the difference. Like, she didn't just take care of Easton, she took care of us.
We kind of knew surgery was inevitable, so it wasn't a surprise. So when we went back for that 5-month MRI, we pretty much knew that it was going to be happening. The signs were there, no developmental issues, luckily, but we knew that it was the time and we couldn't wait any longer.
We did not expect COVID to hit. That was really hard. So he actually had brain surgery the day St. Louis shut everything down. Yeah. And so he had his brain surgery in the morning. We went up to recovery, and honestly, I think he did really well. He took about like 2 bottles when he was done with surgery and was doing amazing. And they sent us home the same day. I mean, he just brings joy everywhere he goes. He is an extrovert. His imagination is out of this world. He loves cooking, he loves gymnastics, he loves reading, he loves Target and Starbucks. Like, he just honestly loves life. Like, yeah. You can tell he's just like, I don't know. I always wonder if it's like he was so close to not being here, if he just takes nothing for granted. Had we gone through this journey in our small town, Montana, I've no doubt that Easton wouldn't be here. And so to be at Glennon and the resources Glennon has and the care that we received and them really making us feel like we are a part of the family is why we get to have our family of 3. So we're just grateful.